Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome another episode of the Sully Squad. Victory Monday. Huge playoff win. We're going to get into obviously a lot of Eagles talk, and so we'll get into that. We'll get a little Notre Dame. I don't know. I was kind of interested in the Notre Dame Penn State game last week, guys. So we'll get into a little bit of that, but. Hey man, it's Victory Monday, y'all. So what's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
Doing good today. Do we got the win?
Yeah, man. Bring on either Minnesota or the Rams. I'm with it. So let's do it.
What's up, Joe? How do you feel about that win?
So obviously a win is a win. You know what I mean? It's a win is a win in the playoffs. I mean, the defense played well. Offense did enough. I mean, to get by. You know what I mean? It's hard. I was a little concerned in the fact that like Green Bay turned the ball over four times or whatever,
Yeah.
and at one point we're only up by 6 in the fourth quarter. But that's bottom line is that the first team offense hadn't really played together in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So, it's only natural to expect a little bit of rust, and they beat a good football team. So. My stance hasn't changed. I mean, I think the Eagles are the best team in football, and I think they're going to win a lot of it because of the defense. Now, the one bad thing that happened yesterday, as you guys saw, was Nakobe Dean getting hurt. I think that could be a major loss because he was playing really good ball, and I feel like they were kind of going after Burks a little bit.
He sucks.
Yeah, so that's a concern going forward. I mean, hopefully, Fangio, he's a really good defensive coordinator. Hopefully he could, kind of, it's kind of hard to hide a guy, but maybe he could kind of put him in a position where, he doesn't get exposed, too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always hard when you set a game plan for the week. You know what I'm saying? Dean's there the whole time, and then you just got to plug somebody in. A whole week of knowing what this guy does well might put him in better positions to be more successful. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't look great out there. Nakobe Dean was playing really good. That's big shoes to fill.
He was. I'll tell you, and these Georgia boys are really coming on. And how about Nolan Smith yesterday?
Yeah, Nolan Smith was great.
He's Nolan Smith is becoming a football player. You know what I mean? And and going forward, they're going to need that because Sean and I were talking yesterday. I mean, obviously, we're. All our focus right now is on the playoffs, but you got a guy like a Josh Sweat who's a free agent at the end of the year, and they're not going to be able to keep everybody. So Nolan Smith developing is a really key feature.
Definitely.
What was? Hang on a second, I got a comment here. Maurice Wright says number 42 forced a fumble on opening kickoff. Yeah, well that's
what he is. He's a good special teams player.
Yeah, Maybe he could be like a decent blitzer. Maybe you can have him in on maybe doing like a run blitz on a first down or something. You know what I mean? Like try to make him active, certain ways like that. Because I feel like if you put him out in coverage, he misses some tackles. He gets, Do you guys remember he was actually the guy last year in the Super Bowl that replaced Dre Greenlaw?
Yeah.
For the 49ers, and then. From that point on, Travis Kelce didn't do shit in the first half or first part of the game. As soon as they brought him in, it was like they were targeting his ass.
Yeah, he cooked them.
So Sean, what would you say was your biggest takeaway from the game yesterday?
The defense. I mean, and then Goddard's play, the way Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay came up with 2 key interceptions. Nolan Smith, like you brought up, hell of a game, tackling, sacks. Goddard, getting more involved, him getting a little bit of rust off, stiff arm that cornerback. I mean, the O-line played solid. And you can't leave the game into the refs' hands too. There were some, holding calls and pass interference calls that weren't called, but we can't leave it into the refs' hands. You just got to play our style of football and go from there,
Yeah, I agree. Here we go. Maurice Wright says poor play calling. I thought Moore could have done more. You know, one thing I noticed, and I thought in particular the second quarter. I think there was like 2 or 3 drives in a row where like our defense was getting them off the field. I think one in particular, I think we got a turnover.
Yeah, Bone picked it off. And then we had the ball like 50-yard line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, 3 plays later, we're punting.
Yeah, and 3 and out. Yeah, unacceptable.
3 negative plays.
Yeah.
With the flag, I'm pretty sure mixed in there.
But back to God.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say I thought some of those drives they went away from Barkley. Like it seemed like a couple of those drives they didn't like Barkley didn't even see the ball.
Yeah.
Nah.
You know.
Yep.
Are you guys a little concerned? Because one thing that has me a little concerned. Like first off, I think the media makes such a big deal about certain things. Like I didn't give one shit that AJ Brown had a book open on the sideline. I could care less.
Me neither.
Yeah,
I worked with a guy since you bring that up. He's like, oh, he shouldn't be reading a book. What is he supposed to do? It's keeping him. He's not doing anything stupid. He's reading.
He's not the quarterback who should have like the computer in his hand. You know what I'm saying? Looking through like the defensive coverage. He's just a wide receiver. You tell him what route to run, and he runs it.
No,
right.
Or like back to what Marie said, was AJ on punishment or something? I think it's one of those things that Jalen's not looking at him, where we were used to 2 games having, like both of us said, the 3 of us said, McKee is that quarterback that spreads the ball, shows the love, where Hurts is that athlete and he just looks at, okay, Diego's there, Joey's there, and he just focuses on that one player, where McKee was showing the love, you know, and it's a different style of quarterbacking. But, you know, I mean, I think AJ and both McKee can lead us to that big game, you know? And
yeah, are you a little concerned? Like, because I don't know. To me, it looked like AJ wasn't like, you know. I'm wondering if that knee's bothering him a little more than they're letting on, because he didn't look the same.
You bring up a good point. I don't know. Like I just like when I watch the TV, a trainer actually bought like this knee wrap. It was like a leg warm, and she wrapped up, I guess, that one knee that's pretty much bothering. It was like a black therapeutic strap. But yeah, I think it is. And plus, you know damn well that cold don't help at all, because you're playing. They had 2 days, I think, to practice, move from the NovaCare to the Link, because the Link's field is heated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that kind of plays a key part, you know. But those nagging injuries with the cold, I think it's definitely going to creep up on you. Look at what's the name? Josh Jacobs getting that extra yard. He was out of the game, you know, with that calf strain, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the Eagles, there wasn't much of a spotlight on the pass game yesterday. I feel like the Eagles know how they want to win these games. You know, they want Jalen Hurts to not take too many risks. They want to get the ball to Saquon Barkley. They want to stay ahead. You know what I mean? Take clock. Like, it just didn't seem like AJ or Devontae Smith were really part of the passing attack yesterday or part of the game plan.
Yeah, and to, you know, to your point too, like, you know, I know at one point we were only up by 6, but I mean, did you guys? I never really felt threatened in that game.
Never. No, I mean, nervous a little bit because the game's close. It should have been close. But, like, did I ever feel like the Eagles were going to lose? Nah. I was like, Green Bay's not beating us. There's one Green Bay. All right, first of all, Josh Jacobs did show up to play. He was a beast. And Jaden Reed looked nice. But once Jaden Reed gets taken out the game, who was really left for him to beat us?
No one really. And you could kind of see Jordan Love. His hand, it looked like his hand was bothering him, because some of them throws were like
bad. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think this the Eagles team we're going to see the whole playoffs. It's not going to be too much air attack. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be too much risk taking. It's going to be, let's run the ball, hold the ball, get a lead, and win a close game.
Yeah,
well, that's why you got. That's why you got
play good defense.
Beast. And then you got the perfect solution of giving Kenny Gainwell some reps. I like to see more of Will Shipley, young, fresh legs, but I'm not the coach, so.
Yeah, here's what I was going to move. Maurice already did it for me. I was going to move on to let's kind of look ahead to who they're going to play next. He says, "Are you guys confident in the Eagles playing Minnesota or the Rams?" I like us versus either team. I mean, the Rams. The thing about the Rams that scares me just a little bit is that Stafford's that quarterback that could get on a hot streak, and next thing you know, he's doing, he's throwing no look passes, and if Stafford gets into a rhythm, he could come here and beat you. Minnesota's got a good defense. Obviously, they have weapons, but and Sam Darnold's had a really good year. But I feel like if you get some pressure on Sam Darnold, you could get up in his ass. I could see Minnesota coming here next week. We get some pressure on him. He throws 2 or 3 picks, and we kick their ass.
Yeah, I agree.
If you play the Detroit playbook, like when they played Minnesota, Darnold had his down game. You just got to get in his face, hassle him, make him flush him out of the pocket. You know what I'm saying? So I'm confident. And I think we could do something like we did with the Rams. I'm not scared. Just keep on playing that well-rounded defense of game that you have been all season, and everything should be on besides injury setbacks. And like I said, next man up mentality. If it's like Diego said, Orion Burks, you're not confident with him, Trotter Jr., let's go.
Yeah, and all right, so that's that's basically how we view who they play. I mean, who do you think they're going to play? Because I know Minnesota's at the Rams tonight. I know because of the fires they're playing in Arizona. Who do you think's going to win tonight? I kind of think the Rams. I have a feeling the Rams are going to take them. So I
like the Rams tonight.
Yeah,
the Rams.
Me
it's similar to that Chargers Houston game. Remember, you guys really think Chargers are going to go into Houston and beat Houston and they should be a favorite? It's kind of the same thing. I don't think Minnesota should be a favorite going playing in LA.
Should have, but that wasn't the case because that defense, like I was telling Joey, with Khalil Mack possibly retiring and Bosa, he's up and down, and then the secondary, injuries and all that stuff catch up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Back Cave has a comment. He says he agrees with us. He says I'd rather play Sam Darnold than Matt Stafford. Playoff pressure is a different beast. Totally. I think we're all in agreement. I'm with you guys though. I like the Rams tonight, and so I think it's going to be Rams Eagles, and that's going to be a tough one.
What'd you think about Saquon Barkley not taking that Joe into the house?
I was all right with it. The game was won. Once he got that first down, the game was won. You know what I mean? So, just take a knee and then move on. You know what I mean? Saquon's he seems like a real class act. You know what I mean? He didn't want to run it. He didn't want to rub it in their face, and I think he said hey, I could have taken it to house, but I'm running full speed.
Didn't want injury. Yeah.
Yeah. What if you pull a hamstring or something? And basically, at that point, it was a meaningless play.
I like that mentality.
So
he took it to the house, but Devontae Smith had that father look in him like, yo.
He's like, come on, bro.
It is what it is, man. Just like Joey said, it's been a while since you see a guy of his stature and play. Just doing what he does. Class act.
He's a friggin'. Saquon's a beast, man.
Yeah.
It's just, what's funny? He might actually be the best running back. It's funny because we've had some great running backs in this town. You got LaShawn McCoy, Brian Westbrook.
Saquon's definitely the best running back the Eagles ever had.
I was going to say I think he is. Talent wise, I think he's the best guy they've ever had. Yeah,
he arguably just put together the best running back year for any Eagle of all time.
Yeah, what do you got? What do you
the second? What did he finish? The second most rush yards ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he's definitely the best running back we ever had.
No, that's true.
One of the best running. His record's like one of the best in history.
I know.
Like Brian Westbrook was nice, you know what I mean? But he ain't Saquon. Shady was great. Shady's Hall of Fame caliber running back. He ain't Saquon.
No.
He doesn't have that same blocking ability, that same strength. You know what I'm saying? Saquon can do everything Shady can, plus some.
I agree. What do you guys think of this comment here? Maurice Wright says, "What do you guys think about the comment on Jalen Hurts? Great team, average quarterback."
I disagree. I think Jalen Hurts knows what he has to do to win football games. If he can put up stats if you want to drive him back 40 times. They don't ask him to do that. Look at all these other quarterbacks that are asked to do that. Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, to drop back all the times. What do? I don't think just because you have good stats and can throw the ball a lot makes you a good quarterback. You know, Jalen knows what he has to do to win football games. That's what he's done everywhere he's gone.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, you mentioned the Chargers earlier. Like, to me, that's a kid that's overrated. Is that Justin Herbert?
I agree.
Someone sent me a meme. It was like, it was Justin Herbert in a Joel Embiid jersey. It basically was like here's Justin Herbert in the playoffs. You know what I mean? I thought it was pretty funny. And Maurice Wright says, "Give me Westbrook over Shady." I think I agree with you, Maurice, because back in the day, Westbrook was like Marshall Faulk,
returning punts. Just that gap back.
Yeah, but so I don't know. What do you I guess, all right, so regardless of who they play next week, whether it's Minnesota or the Rams, are you? I mean, I'm confident they're going to beat whoever it is. Are you guys in agreement with that?
I agree.
Absolutely. Bring on whoever at 3 o'clock.
I'll tell you what, Detroit's not going to have an easy out with Washington.
I'll tell you what. I want to. Yeah, that's what I was going to play. That kid looks. I really hope we win the Super Bowl this year because that kid looks special to me.
Yeah, Daniels?
Yeah, he looks special.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, and so, going forward, I mean, these the next 5 to 10 years with that kid in this division, they're only going to get better. I mean, let's be honest, this is probably the worst. This is probably the least talent. I mean, I think Washington's a pretty decent team, but they're going to get more talent around him.
They're going to get chips on the table. You're right. Wide receiver.
Their defense will probably get better.
Tight end. They're going to definitely. It's almost kind of like the Eagles. They're going to work their magic. Harris is going to. That GM is going to, or owner, I should say, is going to spend forth the money and just go over there. They already got
Daniels is kind of like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
He doesn't make too many mistakes. You know what I'm saying? He makes big plays with his legs.
Yeah.
He's similar.
So I like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has won a lot of games for us.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, this is Jaden Daniels' first season. So
we'll look at CJ Stroud.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
we'll have a sophomore slump. We're talking all this hyped up. Those quarterbacks go into sophomore slump, but it remains to be seen till next year.
Yeah, I don't know. Daniels is nice, though.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like,
go Stroud, but look at him.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, like, even though I like Jalen Hurts, he's a winner. He does things to win. Like, looking at Hurts and looking at Jaden Daniels, though, like talent-wise, I feel like Jaden Daniels, I feel like is a more talented individual than Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like arm strength. You know what I mean? And the other thing about Daniels too, man, and you look at him, like look at the fourth quarters. Look at what this kid does in the fourth quarter.
That's what I feel like Jalen Hurts does. When we need a big drive in the fourth quarter, he puts the shit together. That's what I mean by like similar. It's not like Jaden Daniels. It's not like Joe Burrow throwing the ball. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes, he's kind of smart. He's smart. He knows when to use his legs. He doesn't really take too much risk. Doesn't turn the ball over a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so going forward, that's going to be all right. So let's look ahead. All right, you know what? First, let's look back on this week. What anything really stick out at you this week about this weekend's games? I mean, I don't really think there was really any surprises. I mean, maybe Washington beating Tampa Bay. Although to be honest with you, though, I thought Washington could beat Tampa Bay the whole time. I thought being upset.
Ravens
but
over Steelers. That.
I was going to say Baltimore put it on Pittsburgh. The Texans, Texans as a home dog, you were right, Diego, about them beating the Chargers. Buffalo put it on. I mean, Denver scores the first drive and then didn't do shit the rest of the game. So that was, Buffalo put it on them. I was wrong about that. I thought Denver might actually have given them a game or maybe a sweat. Buffalo beat the shit out of them. What's that?
What were we wrong? Remember when we were talking in the car? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what? Anything? What's the biggest thing that stuck out to you guys about this weekend? Anything in particular?
Lamar Jackson's ribs. How are they?
Yeah, and go look.
Someone stay in Pittsburgh. That's my two.
Yeah. What about you, Diego? Anything sticking out?
Pay running backs.
Yeah.
Pay running backs. Let's be real. Look at all these running backs. Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. All their teams won in the first round. All them dudes had to change the scenery, didn't get paid from the team they should have got paid from. Like, I think running backs are a lot more important than these teams make them to be.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you think about it, for a number of years, you thought you could shake a tree and find a really good running back. And you don't, what I think kind of has happened? There's been the league's kind of shifted a little bit. Like for all these years, teams went, passing game, nickel defenses, dime defenses. And now I think to combat that, like now you see teams are like, all right, you know what? You're going to put all this speed on the field. We're going to run it right up your ass and control it. So it's almost like a return to like old school football. Like look at how the Eagles are playing. I mean, the Eagles are all about dominating the line of scrimmage, time of possession, and same thing with Baltimore. Look at Baltimore. I think I was out Saturday night, so I wasn't watching the game intently, but it was on. And like you look up every time I looked at the TV, Baltimore had the ball. They were running up and down the field. I think the first half they had like 22 minutes of time of possession. Like
it run right outside the line. Yeah.
It's hard.
When you can control that clock with your running back, you make every possession more important for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, and not just any running back either. It's not just about running the ball. These big running backs are they're difference makers. Like Derrick Henry's a difference maker.
Yeah, Maurice Wright said the thing stood out to him is Jaden Daniels' play. He's fired. Yeah,
he's fired.
Definitely agree on that one.
Sucks in our division, but he's fired.
I know.
As I'm saying, Detroit better watch out, dude. I don't think that's an easy win for Detroit, and Detroit's not that healthy. I think Detroit wins, but I think Washington gives them a run for their money.
Yeah. So, well, hey, I mean, so looking forward, I mean, if Washington could beat Detroit, then the road to the Super Bowl goes through Philadelphia.
Yep. And I don't think they don't beat us. They don't beat us here in the third game.
I don't think so either. I mean, that kid's nice, but I would be shocked if Washington, with a rookie quarterback as good as he is, could go to Tampa, win, go to Detroit, win, and then come to Philadelphia, win. I'll tell you what, if he and them could do that, then we really have issues going forward.
Yeah. If you do that shit your rookie year, talk about taking pressure off,
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes shit.
All right, so hang on, got another one here. Maurice Wright says if the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, it'll be rematches throughout the rest of the postseason.
No, we didn't play Detroit. Right?
We didn't play Detroit. Well, I think he's thinking maybe if Washington beats Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what
Gotcha.
I mean? That's another thing too. Like again, I don't want to talk too much about next year because it's the playoffs, but the Eagles road schedule next year is a freaking ball breaker.
Yeah, how many playoff teams do we play against?
They tons. Like they got to go to like Green Bay, Buffalo, Kansas City. Shit. We got to win this. What'd you say?
It's a gauntlet. Yeah.
Yeah, we got.
That means that other teams in our division have a similar schedule now.
No, because we're in first place. So like we play the Chiefs, where like someone else will play the Chargers or someone else will play Denver. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The whole division. I think we play our division plays the AFC West. I think next year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's where I was wrong. No, I'm sorry. That's where I messed it up. We play the Bills, where like Dallas plays like a Washington would play whoever finished shot. Shit, I don't even know who I guess the Dolphins.
Gotcha.
So, you know what I mean? So, but you guys know how it is though. Like with free agency and the draft, and look at that's all you got to do. Look at Washington sucked balls last year. They've won 4 games and now they're good. So sometimes you think you have a tough schedule and then you play the team and then they blow. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Maurice Wright says Eagles versus Ravens or Bills.
Eagles Ravens.
I think it's Eagles Ravens Super Bowl. That's what I would pick. But I'll tell you what, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. Even though I think Baltimore's a better team, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Chris Rapizzi says what is up, homies? What's up, Chris?
Dog?
All right, so let's look at next week's games. We got we already did the Eagles. I guess we'll start off with the AFC. All right, so you got Houston at Kansas City. I think Kansas City beats the brakes off of Houston.
I agree. Houston.
Yeah.
KC beats Houston.
Yeah, right. I got you. And then you got Baltimore at the Bills. That's a freaking
tough game.
Yeah.
I like the Ravens, but I could see the Bills winning that game.
What? And it's in Buffalo too. So obviously you have home field advantage. I'm kind of with you. I know, Diego, I think you said you could see Ravens going to the Super Bowl, and I really see a scenario where the Ravens get to the Super Bowl. I like the Ravens to go to like the way Lamar Jackson. I know Josh Allen's playing great, but look, this is like the best I've ever seen Lamar look.
And Derrick Henry takes so much pressure off of them.
Yeah,
you can really put a 30 carry game on Derrick Henry and give you 152 touchdowns. Lamar ain't got to do too much. That's what I mean by running backs are so much more valuable than you think. It takes such a load off your QB.
Lamar has a bad taste in his mouth of just the constant losing to these teams like the KC, Buffalo. So he wants to prove people wrong that I ain't no joke and I ain't no fluke.
Yeah, you can't just drop back. You can't just drop back anymore and just spy Lamar Jackson. Like now you have to step up. Derrick Henry's there.
And you got a 1-2 punch is tight ends. I love their tight ends. Isaiah Likely, who's a wide receiver in a big boy's body. Mark Andrews, and their wide receivers are kind of unsung. You got Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman's looking. Bateman's all right.
And Zay Flowers, but who knows the severity of that knee injury and when he's going to go. So,
all right. So who do you guys? I'm putting.
I got the Ravens.
Me too. I think the Ravens go there and they dominate the line of scrimmage. And that's how they win.
Kyle Hamilton is playing safety. Raekwon Smith. So I'm going Ravens because
yeah. All right. Yeah. So then that'll set up a Baltimore. That'll set up a Baltimore Kansas City championship game, and hey, if it comes down to that, that'll be a hell of a game, and obviously we'll be talking about that next week.
I think either game will be a hell of a game. KC Buffalo, it's Mahomes Allen, or KC Ravens. That's Mahomes Jackson. Like either one of them games are blockbuster games.
You know what? That's true. Chris Rapizzi likes the Bills.
Okay.
Well, I think the Bills are favored. I think like it's close. I think it's like 1.5 or something. It's pretty much a pick 'em from what I saw. All right, let's go to the NFC. So, all right, well, it's the NFC. We don't even know who the Eagles play, but we both like the Eagles. Does anybody have the balls to pick Washington, or are we going chalk Detroit?
I'm taking Washington.
Okay, so that would set up the Washington Philadelphia NFC Championship game. That'd be. Tell you what, that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Sean?
You know, the style running of Mark Gibbs, Amaz St. Brown, Laporta. You know, I think the offense bails out the defense. So, give me Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, I like what Washington's been doing, and Daniels is really good and all, but like I don't know, man. I think Detroit. It's hard for me to imagine a rookie quarterback going out there in Detroit with the way those people are going to be friggin' insane, and beating them on a Saturday night. If he does, I give him credit, but I think for us to get to the Super Bowl, I think we're gonna have to put our big boy pants on, go to Detroit, and beat.
That's probably what's gonna happen. But come on, I'm just trying to wish it into existence. Let's get Washington and get that done.
I know.
Fuck Detroit.
Yeah, and fuck 8 Mile and fuck Eminem too.
Yeah, right? Yeah, fuck all that motherfuckers.
What was it? Remember 8 Mile? Fuck Papa Doc. Fuck.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? You ate the future of nothing. You just
ate the future of shit, bitch. You was David fucking Porter.
Yeah, I got a what you call it? What do you call it? The 8 ball. The look at the 8 ball. Does it say Detroit's getting the Super Bowl? Nah, y'all losing. Let's see here. Maurice Wright says, I think Daniels is going to get the comeback kid soon. He's building a reputation. Yeah,
definitely.
And we got one more. Washington wins and Eagles win. We could have 3 home games. Well,
there we go.
Open. So, well, anyway, hey, we'll obviously that's what we're
hoping.
Yeah, we're hoping for that, and so that's that. Of course, the football's the top story. There was there's other football going on too. I know I was really locked. Sean and I were really locked in this past Thursday night.
James Franklin sucks, dude. James Franklin sucks.
I could have told you that.
Come on. Notre Dame, that was a good game.
But he can't coach.
He can't coach. He sucks.
Freeman, like me and Joe were going back and forth. He's just got all his players playing to the best of their abilities. And I watched something this morning like Riley Leonard. If he screws up, throws an interception, he doesn't yell at him. He goes, "What did you do wrong?" He talks to him. Get back out there and, make up for it. He doesn't yell at you like some coaches. He just is that coach that wants the best out of you, sees the best in you. And I think I'm going to go out there right now, Joey. We win. We beat it.
Who's Notre Dame got? The next game's a championship, right?
Notre Dame, Ohio State. I know the line.
Sorry, guys.
Screw the Buckeyes. We're going to prove people.
I'm rooting for Notre Dame. Fuck Ohio State, but Ohio State's good, dude.
And like my cousin Joey said, Freeman is the shit. So, coming from a guy that went there, so.
Yeah, so looking ahead, the opening line I think is Ohio State minus 9.5.
Damn.
I know I don't know. I feel like the way Notre Dame's defense is playing,
I would definitely take Notre Dame on the points.
That's a little disrespectful to Notre Dame. And then if you look at the Ohio State Texas game from Friday night, I mean, I know Ohio State wound up winning by 2 touchdowns, but that game was nip and tuck the whole way. Like, Ohio State scores a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Texas moves it all the way down the field, and then Steve Sarkisian has like the biggest bonehead call. Like that pitch where he lost like 7 yards was the dumbest freaking call I've ever seen. Well, you know what? Actually, it wasn't. He was the offensive coordinator for Atlanta when we beat them before we went, in the divisional game to go to the Super Bowl. And thank God he was, because he called dumbass plays in that drive. We wouldn't have won that game.
Yeah.
Like, That hand job had Matt Ryan, who's got he's like a statue rolling out to his right, cutting off half the field. I was like, oh, I remember that. I was like, oh, dude, thank you. You know what I mean?
Well, to bring up like Notre Dame, I think for them to win, just run that ball with Jeremiah Love. He's having a hell of a season, barring some injuries. I like that kid Greathouse. He had a hell of a game last week. You know,
hey, well, Penn State's running back's nice as shit.
Yeah, but where are they at? They're
going home, but I'm just saying he looked good. Both their running backs look good in that game.
Defense, they're good. You know, minus the front line guy they lost for the season. I think they got Cross out and Mills is if I'm correct, if my cousin Joey's still on, if he can correct me, I think those two key defensive players. Hopefully they come back. I don't know. So
yeah. So here's Brian Garrity says if Penn State had receivers that could get open, they destroy that Notre Dame defense. And if
that goes for every team, that goes for every football team. If they had good wide receivers that could get open, it'd be easy.
And if Allen made 65% of the passes, they exposed Notre Dame. Yeah, but first off, thanks for checking in, Brian. But to kind of go against Brian's point, though, Notre Dame's secondary is really good. So there, sometimes there's a reason why receivers don't get open. You know what I mean? Like Notre, you could say, you could say a lot of things about Notre Dame. Like, does Notre Dame have necessarily an elite level offense? Like, no, probably not. You know what I mean? But Notre Dame's secondary is really good. Their defense is really good.
Yeah, defense is good.
Yeah, that's like, that's like saying, hey man, hey, I just want to let you know, like, if I could shoot threes like Steph Curry, the Sixers might win the championship. You know what I mean? Like, all right, like, I got you. Like, there's only one Steph Curry. You know what I mean?
Depends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
2 quarters, but other than that, whatever.
Yeah, hang on. I got a comment here. Here's our boy Mike Fuji. What's up, Fuji? How you doing?
We're good.
Got my man Maurice Wright says Notre Dame has to use all their running backs. Yeah, you know who I like. I like I forget the kid's name. Number 20, the change of pace back. I kind of like a little bit. Sean, what the hell is his name? I'm drawing a blank.
My cousin Joey. If you're out there, give me the running name. He just told me Cross is in, Mills is out for defense. So,
all right. So
Aeneas Williams.
That's it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. You know what? I'm surprised I didn't remember him because he has the same name as the great corner / safety that used to play for Arizona and the Rams.
I think it might be his son. I'm not too sure, but like we said earlier in the season, Notre Dame has a lot of father-son. Ryan Clark, Urlacher, Plexico Burris' son plays there. And I believe Howard Cross, Giant, that's his son. So it's NFL rich with father-son, players. So, but yeah.
I kind of agree with Brian here.
Yeah.
I think OSU probably wins by like 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Jerome Bettis' son plays there too as well, wide receiver. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. To his point, like I said, I know Notre Dame does have a good secondary, but Ohio State has elite level receivers. So that's
I agree with him here.
Ukaba, Jeremiah Smith, but like you said, Joey, if the defense, the corners play nice and tight, play that game, give them some space, but kind of lock and load them,
See, I think for Notre Dame to make this a game, like
run that ball.
Well, actually, yeah, but Ohio State's going to expect that. Like to my opinion, I feel like the kid Riley Leonard's going to have he's going to have almost like his Nick Foles moment. He's going to have
his best game of the year.
He's going to have like the game of his life because I feel like Ohio State. And the other thing about Ohio State either, like you can move the ball on Ohio State in between the 20s. Like you can move it from 20 to 20. Once you get inside the red zone, the reason they're so tough is because their red zone defense and their goal line defense in particular, like they're a bitch to score against. And so, so I think that, that could be where, where the 9.5 comes in, because, Notre Dame could play them tough, but if they're only getting field goals and Ohio State's getting touchdowns, it's unfortunately like this game could get out of, could kind of get out of hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think also
Notre Dame's got to control the ball and control the clock.
What were you going to say, Sean?
I think to get that Notre Dame's tight end more involved too. He's a pretty good tight end as well, is what I'm saying.
Maurice Wright says something happens to any quarterback when he's under pressure. Irish bring the heat. It'll be a long battle. Yeah, I mean,
we get the Will Howard, man. It's a good thing, you know what I mean? Fluster them, make them kind of panic, deer in the headlight, so yeah.
Fuji goes back. He says, who do you fellas have winning this evening, the Rams or the Vikings?
We got the Rams.
We all say the Rams. I think we want the Vikings, but I guess it's because Sam Darnold could turn into a pumpkin. But but I don't know. It's hard. It's funny though. It's one of those things like be careful what you wish for. Like I remember with the Phillies, I wanted the Arizona Diamondbacks last year. You know what I mean? And then look what happened. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you hope.
Yeah, it's not like Minnesota's weak at all. Jordan Addison, Jettas, you know what I'm saying? Aaron Jones, like they're pretty nice.
Hawkinson,
yeah, they're pretty solid.
And then there's another wide receiver on Minnesota. He's like the third guy. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
but then the Rams are similar. You know what I mean? You got Puka, Cup, Williams, like Kyron Williams, like they're similar.
Yeah.
These teams, all the teams love to have weapons.
So what do we got as the score for the Ohio State game, Notre Dame?
Well, so all right, so we want to do all right. So we'll do predictions. So Sean, I hate to say this because I'm a Notre Dame fan too, but I'm not saying it, bro. I mean I think Notre Dame's defense will hang in there a little bit, but I like Ohio. I like Ohio State like I don't know if I have to come up with a score. I'll say like a 27, like a 27-16, something like that. You know what I mean?
I was thinking 27-13 Ohio State.
Yeah.
Touchdown game.
I hate to say it because I'd love to win, but
28-21 Notre Dame kicking through.
Not even a game-winning field goal, a whole touchdown.
Brian Garrity says 38-13 Ohio State. God, I hope it's not that bad.
It could get out of hand like that, though. It seems like that kind of game. Like Notre Dame has to start good. If Ohio State gets out to like a 10-0 lead, it's a wrap.
They're 38-24, Mo. Who wins?
Ohio State. OSU. Yeah. Sean,
I'm done.
I'm hoping you're right, bro. I mean, you know what I mean? Of course I want Notre Dame to win. I'm hoping you're right, but
all good.
But I mean, it's just in my heart of hearts, I just don't see it.
It's all good, guys. I get it.
Cairo Marcel says Notre Dame wins in a
Damn! Let's go!
There you go, Kyle. Way to go. Thanks for
How sick would that be, yo? Oh my God. Yeah. You know what's funny? So Diego, like me and Sean are Notre Dame fans, and it's funny because some people were breaking balls about it. Like, oh, why you guys like Notre Dame? You Irish guys? It's a school. It's a school in France. Blah blah blah. But it kind of has me. It kind of has me laughing though, because imagine if Notre Dame won. Would you see a bunch of white Irish dudes at Frankfurt and Cotton?
Yeah. We all the Irish bars down there.
My cousin, if he's still tuning in, went to Notre Dame, and I just fell in love with him, man. It's a great university. If you haven't been out there, check it out, man. And he always throws a good time, So I'm grateful for that, and just the team itself, It's either Notre Dame or Penn State.
It gave every Irish white dude in the country a team to root for.
Exactly. You're exactly right. And well, that's what my grandfather raised me. Notre Dame Saturdays, Eagles Sundays. You know what I mean? And
he said Notre Dame's French. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Screw you.
Yeah. No. And like, I don't know. Like a couple guys on Facebook were like, they're like, oh, Notre Dame fans or Yankees fans or Lakers fans or whatever. And I was like, first off, that's the most tired argument I've ever heard in my life. Because think about it.
I disagree with that. I think it's more like a tradition thing that Notre Dame has so many fans.
Well, look at my situation. My cousin went there. And I just fell in love with them. I could have went Penn State or whatever, but something about that team, like Joey said with his grandfather, Lou Holtz, the tradition, the history, I'm sold. Game over. Joe Montana, all that. That's me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're Irish and all this. It's just the team and the history.
Right. And then also like it's a dumb argument because first off, there's no like, okay, Penn State is the college is one of the colleges of Pennsylvania, or big college of Pennsylvania. Okay, that's great. Penn State's like 3.5 hours away. I don't identify with Penn State. You know what I'm saying?
The only reason I root for Penn State a little bit is because like my brother went there, my friends went there. You know what I'm saying?
That's yeah,
that's fine and dandy. I hear you. Yeah, that's exactly. You know,
but if there was if no one close to me went to that school, I would have zero incentive to root for Penn State. Why? Because a bunch of Philly kids go there. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Maurice Wright says if Notre Dame wins, take the over.
Yeah, they'd have to score a decent amount of points. Yeah, but Notre Dame's gonna have to win with defense.
Yes, I actually kind of disagree. I think if Notre Dame wins, I actually think it'd be more under because that means it'd be a defensive.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Kyle Marcel says it seems like Notre Dame just has that magic, like the Eagles did when they won their last Super Bowl. I kind of agree with that to a point. You know what I mean? Like they're playing really well. I mean, look what they did to Georgia. You know what I mean? Maurice Wright says I'm a Florida Gator fan because of Steve Spurrier. Okay, they were exciting. Hey, you know, they were exciting Florida teams back then. The what was it? The run, the fun and what do they call it? The fun and gun.
Yeah, Fred Taylor. Yeah,
the best Gator teams were the Tim Tebow teams.
Aaron Gonzalez. Who's the dude? The wide receiver. He played for Seattle.
Oh,
no, I'm sorry, Minnesota.
And see, I think
Percy Harvin.
Aaron Rodriguez, Tim Tebow.
Who's Aaron Rodriguez?
Aaron
Hernandez.
I
fucking did kill somebody else.
Probably did. He probably wants to shoot Aaron Rodgers. My bad.
Well, I was going to say
they had the Pouncey brothers on that team.
Yeah,
they were nasty.
If you really look at it, like there's a lot of from the whole team.
The whole team. Yeah. That whole team was nasty.
Just like the Florida State Seminoles. You know, Ohio State, those guys, but yeah. So
that was actually a really good. Netflix had 30. Yeah, I think it was a 30 for 30 with that did a deep dive into that Florida team. It was really.
No, wasn't it 30 for 30, or was it like the Untold Story documentary thing on Netflix?
That's what I'm saying.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry, I get them confused, but yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, it was good.
This is interesting. Maurice Wright says, I think the 96 Gator team beats the Tebow squad.
I don't remember. Who's on the 96 Gators team?
That's
wasn't that like Shane Matthews and stuff? Wasn't there a guy like Shane Matthews? Oh, Werfel. That's who it was. Werfel. Yeah.
Fred Taylor.
That was a good team too.
Now he's got my head.
You know, that would be that. Now that you know what that would be an interesting show. You know, that's a show I'd like to do. Like,
I'm down the comparison, break everything down. Maurice knows me, and you obviously me and you.
Yeah, you guys are college football guys. I don't know enough about that.
I'm everything, but like how Joey's saying, and I hate to cut them off. Just breaking down teams in comparison. I mean, both teams are rich. Fred Taylor, I said that
Javon Curse, that's fire.
Yeah.
Then there's somebody else on there. The Florida Gators linebacker. He plays for Miami. Mel, if you're still on, tell me his name. But yeah, just breaking all those teams down. I'm game.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, because you think about it. They're great shows. Like compare eras. Like here we got. I got one right here. Elijah Williams.
Yeah, there's somebody else. But yeah, I mean, just breaking that down. Those teams, man, you'll be surprised of how many NFL rich players are on those teams that you never even heard of. Some of them are unsung heroes.
Yeah, all 3 linebackers were drafted. Yeah, that was good. They were good teams. Well, I mean that and that would be fun too. Like imagine you do like say like the Miami the different eras of the Miami Hurricane teams back in the day.
Dude, Ray Lewis, Greg Olson.
How about the ones from the 80s when you had like Jerome Brown and Michael
Jerome
Irvin?
Brown.
Dudes, you know what I'm saying?
Mike
like
Johnson, Dan Cilio.
How about that Reggie Bush USC team?
That too. That mean, well, you know what? Actually, now you know what? We're talking about the NCAA championship game. That Texas USC game might have been the best game I've ever seen.
Yeah, I went Vince Young.
That was unbelievable.
That game that might have been one of the best games I've ever watched.
I agree.
In football and college or NFL, it might have been one of the best games I watched. That was fucking insane.
Who was Jamal Charles? There you go, running back for Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk after this, Joe. I'm game, but there's a lot. Like we can go on and on. Jamal Charles, Vince Young, and then yeah.
You know what's funny? I'd have more fun doing that. I mean, of course, I like talking. Of course, it's fun. Like, let's be honest, it's fun.
It's better than talking about the Sixers, bro.
Yeah, or do that when baseball starts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was saying it's of course it's. I mean, this time of year is great. We got NFL playoffs. You got NCAA. NCAA. What do you call it? I don't know, dude. What champ playoffs? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, you got NCAA basketball starting to get to the good part of the season. Hockey's in it. Flyers are in the race for a wild card right now.
Yeah. Washington versus Colorado '91. Okay.
I don't remember that game.
Baby.
That was the Steve Emptman and Mark Brunell Huskies. They were good Washington teams. Yeah, you know what? I'd like to do that. That'd be fun. So, all right. So we made our predictions. The Sixers. I mean, they're not even worthy of talk. I'm so pissed off at the friggin' Sixers. I mean, how many? Remember last week we ended the show with the Sixers, and I was saying how hey, they just had a 4-2 road trip, and it looked like they were starting to play better, and then
Sean beat Paul George out.
Yeah, and
I'm not gonna play tonight because they're too good.
I don't even want to talk about them. They're annoying.
You don't, like you said before, all 3 of us. You don't get to pick and choose what your game is, like what you want to play, how you want to do it. Just play. Shut up and play. But
I'll tell you what,
it's not like that. It's how many games do you want to play? Are you okay? No, I'm. That's why I want them to tank. I hate to say it, but they're not enjoyable. Like I said to you, Joe and Diego.
Yeah, the biggest Sixers news was off the court because there's no more. Yesterday it came out that there's no more Center City Arena, so now they're
going to stay in South Philly and build down there.
Yeah, what's ironic? It gets you thinking because supposedly Goodell got involved. The NCAA, the NBA commissioner got involved. A few other people got involved. And I don't know if you guys remember a few weeks back, like Jeffrey Lurie had a few people like invest in minority stakes of the team.
Yeah.
And one of the rumors was the fact that with all the shit they're doing down there in South Philly, that the Eagles might eventually get a retractable roof like Dome Stadium so they could possibly get a Super Bowl. And, I'm sitting here thinking about it, like why would Roger Goodell get involved with the Sixers arena? It almost makes you wonder, like, is this all part of a big thing where like Sixers and Flyers get a new arena, they put a whole bunch of shit down in South Philly, and then maybe the Eagles get a new arena eventually too?
Dude, we can't fuck that retractable roof.
No. Keep it.
That takes away us you having to come to Philly and like you know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying I want it. I'm saying if you read the tea leaves, it seems
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, fuck that thing.
Yeah, you're right, because it does. I mean, yeah, but you know what though? If you think about it, to play devil's advocate, like how many cold weather games do we even have anymore?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it, like some of these years, I mean, shit, you could go to a game and like.
What's the weather next week?
I haven't even looked yet, but I mean, like, but some of these years, I mean, you could go to a game down at the link in like late November, and it's still like 50-some degrees. You could just wear a sweatshirt and a jersey over top of it, and you're chilling. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, true.
What I wore for the Jaguars Eagles game.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
right, fuck it, get the retractable roof.
I mean, I personally don't give a shit if they ever have a Super Bowl in Philly. Like, I mean, I don't care because, I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, none of us are going to be able to afford that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So what do I care? You know what I mean? This shit might as well be in Mars. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm going.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Although then again, though, it might be kind of cool though, because maybe there'd be something where you could get tickets to like one of like the cool parties or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we can dream. Well, all right, but so that was the off the court Sixers. On the court with the Sixers is all I think of injuries. And before we get out of here, when I think of injuries, I think of my man Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. So if you get hurt out there, motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or a personal injury claim. I don't know if you slip on a banana peel, or if you're like Joel Embiid, because did you guys see the reason he's out is because he got hurt shooting hoops before the game on Christmas in Boston?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus God, the dude gets hurt. Like the dude literally walks out of bed and he just gets hurt.
Doesn't make any sense.
He's Samuel L. Jackson
from Glass.
He's Glass.
He's Glass. Yeah.
Mr. Glass.
Yeah. So, but anyway, if you get hurt out there, he's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So. A lot of people in Pittsburgh probably calling from hopping off the bandwagon because that Steelers team, they were feeling good about their Steelers at like 10-3 or whatever the hell they were, and boy, they took a shit at the end of the year. What did they lose, like 5 in a row?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they did because I think they finished like 10-8. So, but anyway, so 6 Sixers. I mean, should we even waste? You know what?
No,
I don't even want to waste my time because I can't even make predictions because if you think about it,
we don't know who's going to play.
Yeah, I mean, who's freaking right, but who's going to wake up with a sore right nut and be like, all right, I'm not playing. You know what I mean?
I'll change stories. How about McCarthy renewing his contract in Dallas? So he's a free agent. He's either possibly going to go to Bears or Saints interview.
Oh yeah, you know what? I meant.
How's that? Forget the Sixers. There you go.
Yeah, fuck the Sixers. You know,
the Flyers are in a wild card race. So like what, 2-3 points out for a wild card spot? They beat the shit out of Cutter Gauthier or whatever that pussy is that didn't want to play here the other day. It's like 6-0 the Ducks.
The best was they were saying "F you, Cutter."
Yeah.
Dude, I know. You know, it's a shame. It's a shame that the Carter Hart thing had to happen because you look at the Flyers team, they have some really nice young pieces that are going on. They just don't have the similar story, same story we've been having for years. The goaltending's just not good enough.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. The Flyers are probably 2 years away from being real contenders anyway, right?
Yeah.
And there's supposedly they had a couple goalies in the
They got two Russian goalies that
are really good. So get one of them to actually be really good. And by the time you're ready to start winning, that guy's taking over. We're good.
and I think a Finn guy or Sweden guy. But yeah, so
here's our speaking of the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. Dave Yornell says, "Hey fellas, hey Dave, how you doing?" And yeah, so I interesting to see what's your take on McCarthy, Dave, of leaving. I know as an Eagles fan, I was hoping that dude would have a lifetime contract.
I was gonna say I hope they give him like a 20-year contract, Dave. Fuck.
Did you guys? Yeah, Sean, I think you mentioned Kellen Moore. They might. I saw. Or did you say they might look at Kellen Moore? And then some people are saying, it was on X or whatever that they might look at Deion Sanders. I don't see that at all. But
if anything, Deion's going to look into the Raiders because Brady.
What do you think about Shador getting drafted by the Giants and then firing Dabble and hiring Deion Sanders?
That ain't happening. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll see that now. That was good news though, because the Giants came out and said they're bringing their GM and their coach back. I was like, oh man, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah.
He must have. I'd say some of these guys must have pictures, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
Because I mean, what I don't know. Like, if can you imagine being the Giants owner and you're like looking at them too, and you're like, oh, you know what? Hey, this makes sense. Let's bring these guys back. Oh, we had a great year. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Hey, while you're at it, you got another Daniel Jones you want to go throw like $50 million to, and then you're like Saquon. Nah, you know what? We're good. We're gonna let Saquon go because we got to pay Daniel Jones.
That's crazy.
Hang on, I got a comment here. Dave Yornell says they couldn't come to an agreement, so I'm okay with it. Me personally, I would love Gruden. That's just me. Who knows at this point? Oh God! Oh, please bring John Gruden in. Oh
yeah, yeah, you can have him.
Yeah, that's even better than Mike McCarthy.
Jesus Christ!
Throw in there Rex Ryan too.
Let's see here. Maurice Wright says, "Do you all think the Eagles have a chance at getting the Penn State tight end?" Man, I don't think so. I think that kid's supposed to go like pretty
top 20. I've been looking and doing mock drafts. Joey, Colts and Chargers are heavy on them, vice versa, together.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, I mean, you know how it is. Like it's so early. Like you really you could. Like a lot of these mock drafts, like you literally could wipe your ass with them at this point because how many years do you have a mock draft in like January and then like 2-3 months later, they've already like prodded all these dudes and like looked at them and all this shit. And then like some of the dudes that they have that were going to be like first round picks don't go into like the 3rd, 4th round. And then you have a dude you never even heard of. All of a sudden they're like, oh, he's top 5. And you're like,
the weekend warrior. Yeah. But
remember Mike Mamula,
He was a weekend warrior. He had a great draft combine. How'd that work out?
Yeah, Dave Yornell says, I believe it's between Ben Johnson, Kellen Moore, and Ryan. As in Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
I hope Rex Ryan don't go there because maybe I'm partial because of Buddy Ryan, but
Rex Ryan ain't going to the Cowboys.
Well, you know what? If they hired him and he did, then it's a classic example of old man Jones just not wanting to give up control, and he just wants a guy that's going to go there and like not break his balls. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll get into that in the coming weeks. So all right. So shout out to the Flyers. Trying to think. Actually, no. You know what? Next time we do this show, it'll be before the Notre Dame game, so we won't have a result. All right. So next week when we're on, hopefully it's
we're going to the NFC Championship.
Hopefully we're in the NFC Championship game, and maybe Joel Embiid will play a basketball game, but like I said, who really gives a shit? And you know what? Flyers are actually on tonight. Flyers are playing the world right now. Actually, they're playing the world champion Florida Panthers. So this will be a good measuring stick for the Flyers. So we'll see how they look. See how they look tonight. So that'll be interesting. But Anyway, all right, everybody. Well, look, go Birds. We'll be back
Birds.
next week, and we all think they're moving on. And enjoy the NFL playoffs. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
All right, peace, guys.
Later.